Biggest point was you can only live the end of your world one time. This is not something that like, or you should only want to live the end of your world one time. When we look at a lot of the reasons why I would say people start their arcs of character, you reap what you sow. And whether the end of the world was your cause or whether it was just supposed to happen, we should not be living in the cycles of our own doomsdays. Like, and that's where like people become, it's addictive to go through that kind of traumatic and that dopamine or that just kind of experience to like know that like if I did it once, I can do it again. But you put yourself on the brink of survival all over again. And not just survival, but it's more like, I would call it psychotic to do that all the time. But it's also like adventurous. Like, it's a thin line between dumbass and hero.
I agree.
And it ain't easy to kind of relive those cycles, but you stop focusing on like your base self and what you became what made you desirable as a child. And like when we start to develop, you call it the prefrontal cortex or the part of our brains where we start to actually realize the reward system and the things that we do like that stuff, it expands, but it's a point of time to where it's like the only amount goes so far to realize your reward, to realize that we don't have to kind of go through this all over again. We don't have to sacrifice everything. It was a point of time when we liked things at the bare minimum. As a baby, we didn't need the things that we require as an adult. We didn't need the things that we kind of wish for and we push for to fill the voids of external approval. And what I take it from is like, don't relive your own doomsday or your world can only end one time is relax.
Definitely
Relax. Take your time with it. Like, and people who don't get their world, people who don't see their world and doesn't know the world to build, doesn't know the people that they deserve in their world, doesn't respect the people that they have already in their world. They feel like everything is already given, it's already handed. Turn around. And when we go into this, that's fire. When we go into it, we start to think like, we didn't watch some of our parents' worlds in.
I don't know if it's because people forget what they planted or forget where they planted what they planted.
That's fire. Facts.
But
That's
it's
tough.
like, or if it's like you're just planting everything all at once. And they're so impatient when it comes to whatever it is that they're working on. So not waiting on returns or not staying focused or consistent with that one or two things, you kind of walk away and forget to water those things. So it's not that you never planted anything, it's that you just never nurtured it. We never nurtured ourselves.
Thank you.
I think that's also a cause of being broke. We're so external. We're not pouring into ourselves. We're spending money on things that are giving us no return. So
100%. Why be a survivalist when you can be a visionary?
Exactly. I've come to terms with, because my whole thought process has been to survive, learn how to survive, learn how to keep going. That's what we're taught growing up. That's how we're taught to be, as long as we can survive. But I really think that's a base tier and a base hierarchy in being successful, prosperous, however you want to word it. Because the survivalist is solely bent on enduring, withstanding scarcity, not having enough, and going off of the bare minimum. There are levels far beyond being a survivalist, and we have to learn to be creators.
Plateaus.
I got some more shit. Give me a second.
When you see, I said, you want to go with your thought?
Nah, go ahead.
All right, I was about to say, when we think about survival all the time, and I think about when you just bring it up, it made me think about like, get the good grade. Like, straight A's is the best type of way to go. And like, some of the point of it, like they labeled us in like schools as cohorts on basically like your testing and your grade scores kind of thing. And then for a lot of people, it was a cohort to kind of establish a level of survival. I'm with this certain level of, you call it demographic of education. Now, like my survivability is a lot more prone, or it's a lot more easier to survive almost, like to get that perspective. And that's kind of where my mind just went. I'm just thinking about like, are we surviving, or are we just kind of placing ourselves in a longer race, in a more complex race, in a more complex atmosphere to where we have to survive now, not just for ourselves and not just for this period of time or for our goals or for what we want. We're surviving for other people's wants and needs now.
Exactly. It's a mindset of like having fear of failure. You know, it's playing defense, never really making a real move on life, on your life, or just in progression. It's causing us to stay docile and very stationary. Once you build camp as a survivalist, you're gonna be there until resources run out. Then it forces you to be a nomad and you have nothing to take with you.
Why do you think, like, in the first level of, like, I'm not gonna call it people's like military training, but why do you think they like instill the acumen or the prowess to be able to know how to survive when it comes to like the military, the Marines, and stuff like that?
I believe it's base merit. Like it's the start of, because once you're able to survive, now it's the rest is up to you. You are now responsible. So if people are barely surviving and they're barely getting by, no one is able to hold them accountable.
Thanks.
Surviving is when you're living in reaction and not creation. When you're focused on protection and not progression. Stuck in survival mode and not transitioning into thrival mode. You might avoid failure, but you also miss your opportunities. You can protect your peace, but never build your purpose. You live in constant defense and never reach abundance. The pros, you develop stamina and durability, but you never develop the vision. You can never see yourself going far. You can't project where you might be because you're going off of only so many resources.
I've been saying in this year being 2025, the 9, like, this is an offensive year.
Very offensive year.
I don't want to leave it to just playing defense no more. For a lot of people who do crafts, who got arts, who believe in what they want to do, and like really transform it into the version of your life's work. I was also talking about like how this year was gonna make people get into like the career side of things, the professional side of things, but maybe not just career, but actually life's work. Actually tapping into what that means, and like out of the survival mode to thriving mode. Like, I'm thriving. I'm not surviving. I actually got resources. I actually got people that I want around me. And choosing that, like, and I was really in my mind about that, like really feeling it, like, we playing offense.
Yeah.
We no longer stuck in defense. We no longer are waiting for things to happen and come into our worlds and disrupt them. Like, we really are stepping into the aspect of my foot marks the steps in the sand. My feet is what leaves history, what plants history. So I really do feel that, like, no more waiting around.
And it's something that you have to be intentional about, but you'll know when it's time. And you'll know when it's there. You'll know when, like, you can only stock up so much, and you can only take so much with you. One quote that has stuck with us for a while now is, "It's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than a man to inherit the city."
What you feel? How do you feel that refers to a person being in survival mode?
Okay, so I guess I can speak personally about this. Being a person, not like a hoarder, but feeling like I need to gather as much as I can. Like, I don't want to need anything. I want to have enough inventory and stock, and then hit the ground.
Yeah.
Some people, they literally are doing what they can with what they have. And although I have a little more resources than somebody, they already have a little bit more experience, and I'm being beat with less. I'm being beat by all the competition, and I got way more than them.
Actually, I was about to be like, it's a greedy motherfucker.
Yeah, it makes you greedy. It makes you greedy. It makes you not want to do anything, and it makes you look more scarce than a person with less, because you don't want to lose anything that you've been working so hard to build up in the first place.
And that's right there is where it becomes like the hierarchy thing. Like, I don't think anybody ever has a problem with having more or needing more. I think that's why we go wrong with having tiers and classes of socialization, and I'll say capital or economics. Like, we got a We got a 1%, we got a middle class, and then we got just pure poverty line.
We gotta focus on our sweet spots.
Just focus on the sweet spots. A lot of us at the bottom is focusing on, I think a lot of us at the bottom focus on just having enough. Like, when I understand it, I think that's also a good thing to have just enough, but that's also more survival to have just enough, because now you're thinking about when is your next enough. The middle class, it'd be like, it gets to the point to where we feel as if we got more than what we have, and we spend more than what we have, and it's almost a gluttonous nature for the middle class to even go into that aspect. And it's still another form of survival, like personally, or my
Definitely
aspect.
survival.
Pure survival. I'd be like, okay, yeah, you might make this amount of money a year.
It's like, all right, so I look at it like this. Lower class is like in the woods, set up campfires, that type of thing. When you think of middle class, I mean, it's still surviving, but now they in like a abandoned facility or an actual structure where it's gated off and you can sleep a little more comfortably. That doesn't make you in any better situation just because you can get a good night's sleep.
Facts. Facts. That's definitely facts. So what's the high? What's that last tier? Wealth.
I don't
royalty.
even know what that next tier looks like because I'm just now able to name this one. Breaking past my survivability instinct.
Facts.
It's no longer in me to just want to survive. I'm working to prosper, and I'm working to etch my name into what it is that I'm doing, my own craft and my own field.
100%. A priority broke person or an actual money broke person? Which one affects you and what you're trying to do?
Both hard to be on, and you kind of got to look at yourself sometimes because hard to be around. A survival broke person, a person that goes out every weekend, paycheck to paycheck, impulsive, just want to spend until they ain't got no more. You stay away from those people. But priority broke people, I believe they can be not saying that they're wrong in what they're doing, but they're also hard to be around because they're so focused on what needs to be done every day, every week, that they don't have a lot of time. So it's like that survival, impulsive, shoot the shit person, that's cool because they got a little more time because they're willing to spend money that they don't have. If you working with someone or a partner with someone that's prioritizing, they're gonna have a lot less time for you. And it doesn't always make you a failure. It definitely makes you mature. It shows maturity. It's not empty, you're planting. You're not behind, you're building foundation. You're not losing, you're learning how to care about what matters. From survivalist to visionary, that's the real evolution. Survive the storm, but don't forget to build the castle.
Why do we make this video?
I think a lot of times when we record, like, yeah, we call it therapy, but it's always allowed to be personal. Even when certain things sound so general and it can apply to most people, it's still personal. And to give ourselves a few steps and taking a chance and like honing in on what it is that we're feeling and where we're at and breaking that threshold, we can then look back and know this is what we spoke on and holding ourselves to it. It's accountability to keep doing this.
100%. You said something like a muffin or something like that. Like, you making a sandwich. It's all the stuff that's like in between the bread, in between the buns.
Life is for sure making a sandwich.
Making a sandwich, and one day you get to eat it. Like, I'm a firm believer of you can have your cake and you can eat it too.
Oh, you definitely can. It's very frowned upon.
It is very frowned upon.
It's frowned upon to think that way.
To think that way. People got their own stipulations and diagnoses on how they feel about that, but only thing that makes that statement true is work. Backbone. Are you doing what you say you're gonna do? I think a big part of the reason why it came from my point of view and my perspective of like running with your idea of the survivalist topics, like, cause that's definitely like strong on where we is, like as people, like take all this away from us. Take all this away from us. Like we didn't definitely like Hearts of Man, like Valhalla. Like, it ain't something that's like we gonna get back. But to be a survivalist, it first comes to be a warrior, to be a man, a cosmic hunter.
And to end us off, who are we looking for? What kind of people are we looking for? Because, like, obviously I'm stepping in a space of just creative designers, people that can hold a camera, can use a camera, has a vision, capture angles, and clothing and fashion. What is our attire when we step into this new world order? Those are the people that I'm looking for that are willing to create that. People that are willing to come together. Collaboration is our movement, but like from work life to life's work, hustle to ownership, and to not be a survivalist are the movements that we're going with this year, and so on, like to the casket drop.
100%. This is it for us. We got an event. I'm calling it an event. Come join us in the world that we building, June 27th. It will essentially be something where brand and business owners, people looking to collaborate, people who looking to build a world.
Real open house.
Open house, fire. Photo shoots, conversations, connects, content creation. Come be around, come stick around. Let's build.
Promote yourself.
Words, knowing the type of person I am and knowing everything that's tied to the kind of person I am, I would think I have nothing to give. Like, a heavy sense of lack, for sure. Like, there is nothing left for me to help anybody with. I can't help myself.
Yeah, I gotta help myself.
Nah, for real.
But I only ask that because there's two types of broke. There's a type of broke when you just a lazy ass, and a broke where you're so focused on priorities and handling your business that you calling yourself broke or you feel like you're behind or whatever the mind state is. It's not the same as a person that's not doing for themselves, that has nothing to show for it in that way.
Wholeheartedly, definitely agree. Just like definitely is two different kinds of rich.
There's a difference between being broke from survival versus being broke from stewardship. Your survival broke people, money gone, nothing to show for it, instant relief, instant gratitude, impulse, no return, pure regret. That's the simple cookie cutter broke person in my eyes. But when I felt like I've overspent or I'm looking at less than what I thought I would be, I definitely tend to tell myself, well, if somebody asks me for something, I bet you I tell you I'm broke. I make sure I tell you I don't have nothing extra, because in reality, I mean, I'm getting by, but I don't have nothing for you. Like,
Facts.
It has to go somewhere. Every penny should be accounted for, and it should also have a place. That's where we get into priority broke. Rent paid, kids clothed, business funded, car fixed, therapy, credit, whatever your priorities are and your true needs, and when those are taken care of and you looking at less than, that doesn't, I still feel like you're an extremely abundant person.